skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, performance enhancement expert, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 63 countries, such as the U.S., India, Canada, France, Australia, New Zealand, Belgium, Norway, all over the world. So I want to thank you to those who are listening from wherever you are. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformations. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on Blog Talk Radio, who hosts the show live Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio Community. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, and the Google Play Music app. On the show are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, podcasters, authors, amazing people in the world that are doing amazing things. And my guest today does exactly that. So please help me welcome to the show, Divya Parekh. What is happening? How are you?
Oh, thank you for having me on your show, Sean. It's a wonderful summer day and very glad to be on your show.
Great. I'm glad the weather is great. We've had some pretty hot weather here in North Carolina. A little seasonably warm, a little humid, really. But, the sun is shining. It's a great day. So I am ecstatic to have you on the show. We've had some great conversations over the past couple months. And I'm really excited to introduce you to my listenership and the amount of value that you bring with the conversation. So, I really want to thank you for coming on the show.
I'm super excited to be on the show as well, Sean, and as you have mentioned, we have had few conversations, and I've always been impressed by the length and breadth of your expertise and knowledge and wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So the title of this episode, well, before I go there, this is a live show if you're catching us at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you have any questions for any guest that I bring on the show, this is a live show. So call in with your questions at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. You can dial in and talk live right here on Life Transformation Radio. The title of this episode is Business Relationships with Divya Parekh. I'm saying that right, Divya Parekh, right?
You got it.
Got it. Just making sure. So Divya is an award-winning business relationship advisor, international speaker, and a 6-time #1 international best-selling author and a writing muse who has had great success with authors, super achievers, coaches, entrepreneurs, and speakers. Divya's books and strategies have been endorsed by the likes of Brian Tracy, Marshall Goldsmith, Kevin Harrington, who was the original shark from the Shark Tank, James Malinchak, who is an amazing, I know James, he's an amazing speaker, an amazing dude, and he's on ABC's Secret Millionaire. Sherry Winn, who is a 2-time Olympian, and many, many other influencers that we know, like, and respect. She has a message that is essential to bringing success to anyone, and that message has 5 tenets. Number 1 is servant leadership, collaboration, not competition, build relationships that matter. Number 4, mindfulness works everywhere. And the last one is knight yourself. And so you can learn everything you want to know about her at www.divya, which is Divya, Divya Parekh, Parekh.com, DivyaParekh.com. Facebook, Beyond Confidence for Success, right there in the show notes. Her LinkedIn is right there in the show notes. So connect with her. I'm telling you, she is a game changer. So with that said, the first question that I always ask all my guests on the show is why? What is the why that fuels you? The big deep why that you have for what you do?
So Sean, first of all, thank you for such a warm and kind introduction. And what a great question. What is my red hot why? And I'll share with you that red hot why is something, like as you mentioned, that fuels us and that helps us spring out of the bed in the morning and jump out of there and say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to go and do things again. So I've been very fortunate. I did not know for sure that what it was when I was young. But what I saw was I was very fortunate to have seen my dad just help other people. And, so many people are taught different things when they're young. I saw my dad lead us by example. And he would always be helping people who are in need. And for that matter, he was a tree hugger. If somebody was cutting down some trees, he would just go hug the trees and prevent them. So just the awareness and so many different things that he would do without telling, it had a great impact on me. And I kind of fell right into his footsteps, and I found that I really enjoyed helping other people, whether it was in school. One time I was a pretty shorty myself when I was young, and then of course I was fortunate to have gained some height later on, but I was very young, and somebody was bullying somebody else, and probably second or third grade, and then some of these girls were probably 3 times the size that I was. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but they seemed very big from what I recollect. And I went and I defended my friend. So that ability to go and help others and see the transformation in their lives and see them achieve success, to me, that's my biggest why. And
I love
the
that.
reason, yes.
And you said the biggest reason?
Yeah, and the biggest reason for that is that, think about it. If I help someone become what they want to become, now they go and make such a huge difference. So for a person who wants to expand her reach tremendously, this is the best way to go about.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I like it. I like it a lot. There's a little level of courage, right? I mean, you're talking about people who are bigger than you. You're trying to empower the other people to live that best life, right? But there's always that one obstacle. Someone's bigger than you or stronger than you, and you can equate that to life, right? Like we're gonna come in contact with obstacles and hardships and adversity and trying to overcome those and become empowered to overcome those, I think is so, so important.
You're absolutely right in that, Sean. The beauty of life is that just like we have been given sun and moons, light and nature without any restrictions, similarly, life is usually life. To everyone, we each and every one of us have the same desires. We have the desire to live a happy life. We have the desire to be free, joyful, connect with good people, have a good family life, have a good freedom of life, of time and efforts, and do whatever we want to do. So similarly, we have each and every one of us have our shares of ups and downs. So the key is that, if we just want all the time, good times, it doesn't happen. Whereas if we have that perspective that, life is life, and I'm just going to face what it comes, and that does not mean that you'll not be scared and you'll not be fearful, but it's looking at that fear right in the face and overcoming the challenge and moving beyond it.
Yep, very well said. Absolutely. So this show is all about our transformations, and I don't believe that people were born with luxury, right? People were born with a way that, I'm never going to face anything hard or tough or, whatever. We all come from different walks of life. We all experience things differently. So can you tell us one or two transformational moments that really set you up on the path to what you're doing today?
Absolutely. So sometimes, there are moments which just set your path in the right direction. So one of the times I remember is I was probably in high school, and as I mentioned, in my earlier high school, I used to be short. I don't remember exactly whether it was middle school or high school. And I was kind of being bullied by a group of girls, just kind of being called names and all that. And I had somebody else step in for me, which I'd totally forgotten that I had to step for somebody else. They stepped in for me and just supported me and took a stand for me. And then that was so powerful. I was here looking at this person, not my friend, just somebody who happened to be there when this was going on. And I was like, what? This is amazing. I gotta do the same. I gotta return the favor, pay it forward. And after that, it's like a switch. There's a saying which says that absence of light is darkness. So similarly, absence of awareness is leading you on the path where you may be staying stuck. You may be staying at one place. So basically what happened with this was, just a light went off or went on, so in this case. And once that light switch was turned on, it was like, what can I do to help others? Because it's so empowering when you help others. It's a mutual win-win situation. You feel good. You are helping others help others. So that was one of the moments. And then one of the second moment was during my corporate career. It was around 2000 when the economy had taken a downturn, and all industries, including pharmaceuticals. A lot of people were walked off all of their lives. Sean, these were my friends who had worked with for several years. What happens is that, yes, you have families, and yes, these people at work, your colleagues, become your friends and family at work. And when they were walked off at a moment's notice, their whole life in one cardboard box, it just had a tremendous impact on me. And that was the day I decided that I would do something about my career where I wouldn't be hanging by this thread of fear that, you know what, will I be next? Will I be next? And that's what propelled me towards entrepreneurship.
That's got to be like a terrible way to live, right? I mean, like you said, like, am I going to be next? Like that living in fear and that uncertainty, because one of our 6 basic human needs is like guarantee, security, right? We need that. We need to feel safe. We need to feel, secure in our relationships and secure in our job and money and, whatever. So for people to live like that, and I'm sure people still do. I'm sure people still live in fear of losing their job, losing their money, losing relationships, whatever. But that's got to be a terrible way to live. But that's how you were living, right? At that time when the economy was at its lowest, like you were living in that fear.
So there were rumors going around that, there were going to be layoffs, but, unless it happens, you're like, You're always kind of thinking, just like every mortal human being thinks, that death is not imminent and, we are just immortal. So similarly, people in jobs and all that, we become so accustomed to the routine that we don't expect for us to be late, but the event happens, and when you face the situation, and that's when the fear sets in, that, there was the fear, but taking control of the situation and me turn around what was going around.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. So what turned it around for you? So that was kind of the push you needed, is what I'm hearing. That was the kind of the push, like, okay, enough is enough. Like, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to live like this no more. The living in fear and the questioning and the guessing and whatever. And you said you turned to entrepreneurship. What was that? What was that next step like for you? What did you do after that?
Oh, the next step was, I sat down. I'm a person, both meditation, action, reflection, contemplation. It's both part of left brain and right brain. So first of all, I contemplated that what was it I wanted to do, right? Because now, if you are in your career where you've spent quite a bit of time and now you're thinking of changing, it's a pretty life-changing event, and it's not that simple. And as the same thing kept on popping up again and again, that what I really liked was making a difference to people. I was evaluating. I found that people came to me from trenches to the C-suite for just kind of connecting, unloading their troubles and seeking solutions. I said, okay, so let me see what careers are involved over there. And it was coaching, and then I went and took the education and certification in that, and then the rest is history.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome. So we take the why, we take these transformational moments in our life that propel us forward, and then it's time to elevate the world around us. So tell the world how you transform lives and elevate the world around you.
I always say it takes a village to do anything. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and the same way, the way I believe is that it takes a village and a community and people coming together to elevate the world and transform lives. Was, as I was going into coaching program, it was a year and a half. So one of my instructors shared with me that regardless of where you are at, it's important to have a coach yourself. Even if you're a coach, it's important to have a coach. Oh,
yeah, that's huge.
It was huge. I cannot tell you how huge it was. And that was the day, and today's the day I've had coaches, because the way I see it is, regardless of how many years you have driven, you're going to have blind spots.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Absolutely, yep. Having that person in your life who can mirror. So either it can be mirror friends. I call friends who will be very direct with me, very honest with me. They have no hesitation in telling me what I'm doing wrong or what I could do better. And when you have those kind of people in your life, because they say you are the sum of 5 people that you connect with. So if you're hanging out with people who are transformational, not only you have that power source to keep on replenishing yourself, because think about it, it's really important to replenish yourself and recharge, because especially if you are in the business of transformation and helping people move forward. So what I've done is, long story short, is I believe I'm a continuous life learner, and I believe that if I want to give the competitive edge to my clients, I keep on learning, I keep on sharpening my tools, I keep on adding tools to my kit, and I keep on building relationships. For example, one of the great things is, connecting with the like-minded people. Because when you're with the like-minded people, you can share your message far and wide. you can support each other, you can help each other grow your businesses, you can give each other opportunities. So it was about building that camaraderie, building that message. The key is to take your message, which you're living consciously or unconsciously, and giving it a name. Now, that can be a book. So I would help a lot of different write their books. So basically, first of all, we would take a message, hone it down, that not only impacts their clients or people surrounding them, but it also elevates their business. And then that business is transforming other people's lives. Or I would help turn people go from expert into authority. Then that way they become industry leaders and find their niche and find their position where they're connecting with their audience and building that trust factor. So a lot of different elements. I've just mentioned two.
No, I absolutely 100% agree. 100%. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's important that we understand where people are coming from, because we only see the success part, right? Like we only see the international speaker and the international best-selling author, and we only see, but we don't pull back the veil, right? I mean, we can only convey so much inside of our bios, on our website, things like that. But really, I mean, when you hear it from them, and you can hear the passion, you can hear exactly why they do what they do and how they do it. I think that's what people love. That's what they told about my show is that, man, I love the story of how they got into it, because they want to know the behind the scenes things. They want to know like the down and dirty. And I had a lady on a couple weeks ago. She's like, I sat there and cried, like in a bathroom stall. Like I just sucked at this. Like, why do I put myself through this? But now she's like super successful. She was like, I never even did that. Like that was really dumb. But at the time, it's tough. It's hard. It's, you're just coming into your own. So yeah, I thank you for sharing the story, because I think it's very important that people learn through the stories, of how everything has happened. So this is me. I think it's very important. So moving forward, take us into what you're doing now and where you see yourself heading into the future. What does the rest of 2018 and even into 2019 look like for you and your business? Are you still there? Oh, I think she dropped off. Divya, are you still there? No, I think she dropped off. So this is Life Transformation Radio. And if you have any questions for myself or the guest, please dial in at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And you can call in, ask myself a question, ask my guest a question. So I think it's very important what she was saying, that it is tough, it is hard. Entrepreneurship, business itself, all you see is what they portray on Facebook, what they see, what you see on LinkedIn and Twitter and all these other places. What I've learned about the show is that it's a 10-year overnight success, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 20 years. I've had people that have started their businesses 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they're just starting to gain traction, right? They're just now starting to come into their own. They've got their why figured out. They know what their transformational moments were, because those are some of the hardest moments that we have ever gone through. And so if you could take that transformational moment, all the hardships, the trials and tribulations, everything that you've gone through, and use it to inspire the world around you now, that is what sets you apart from everybody else who is not doing that. Because people connect through stories, they connect through emotions, and if you can portray those inside of your inside of your business, inside of your company, inside, like when I'm speaking on stage, like that's huge for me. I connect through stories. I connect through, audience engagement. On the radio show, we're connecting through stories. We're connecting through like-mindedness, like what is your why? Everybody should have a why. If you haven't watched Simon Sinek's TEDx talk, Start With Why, you must do this now. Today, you must start this now. He says, people don't buy into what you do. They buy into why you do it. And that's huge. People don't buy into what you do. They buy into why you do something. And so if you don't have a why for what you do, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. If you don't have a why for what you do, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. The why is what keeps you moving forward. The why is what keeps you going, is the reason why you do what you do. And not some like, well, I want to make money, and that's all byproduct. What is your why? It's a great book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. It's his TEDx talk. Have to have a why. The transformational moments that change your life. Mothers Against Drunk Driving was started because their daughter was killed. Other organizations have been started because of something that changed their life, something that changed their mindset, or they experienced something, some kind of a transformation that changed their life and puts them on the path moving forward, because I believe that everything that you're going through is preparing you for where you're going to. And so when I ask these questions about transformation, it's more of a process, not an overnight success. I don't believe at all in overnight successes. But I do believe that you're on a transformational journey for a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it's going to take you. Because sometimes we just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and so you just get stuck. And you don't move forward, and you don't move on. And so these transformations that I talk about on the show with the guests are their stories, their transformational journey. And I just love learning the backstory, the behind the scenes of what they experience, because all we see is that tip of the iceberg success. So, Divya, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back with you. And, it's it's amazing. Sometimes technology will help us practice the very principles that we talk about, right? I talk about mindfulness,
Yep.
And here you go. You're talking, and boom, it disconnects you. But at the same token,
Yep.
I'm just glad that I'm able to hop on with the phone. So thank you for being patient.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what I was asking before is, what does the rest of your 2018 look like? What are you looking forward to? How are you moving forward? And even into 2019, what's on the horizons for you? What's next for you?
Great question. So for 2018 and 2019, my dreams are big. I want to impact a whole lot more people, and as a part of that, what's happening is I'm introducing a whole new level of mastermind. Because what I find is that, when you are masterminding with like-minded people, it's almost like you have this community who's got your back. You have this community who'll show you the mirror. You have this community who'll help you grow in your business, and you're helping them. So it's not just a one-way street. It's that team of, it's almost like, being on a sports team and how you root for each other. We are introducing a whole level of new mastermind, and I'm also bringing in continuation of my program from expert to authority, as to where somebody comes in and, they write a book. I help them take the concept from writing a book to becoming a bestseller to becoming the industry leader in an authentic way. And you said it beautifully, not an overnight success. you put in the work, and you reap the benefits.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, talk about some of the plans you have for even 2019. Like, where do you see what you do in your business and everything? Where do you see it heading into 2019?
Well, what I'm seeing in 2019 is I'm seeing my business heading into a retreat. So where as part of not only one retreat, I'm planning to do actually 2 to 3 retreats where we are going to bring people together, where they come, they connect with people, and this connection, what has happened is that we have got so lost in the digitized world that where we are connecting, so we consider that, okay, I got like 10 likes today and I'm good. And then sometimes what happens is that's great. I mean, of course, you get the likes. That's the way you find out what's happening. But there's the relevancy in there. So the whole idea about this retreats is going to be is that you come, you bring your business idea, and we help you move forward into making into such a thing where it becomes a plan where you can go and monetize it. And also we are going to walk you step by step where you will be able to have the authority positioning plan in your hand. And not only that, think about it. All these people who are going to come together right there, they have people that they can connect with. Where the continuation of the program is the masterminding. I mean, you cannot go and spend time out of your house several times, but like you do it one time in the retreat, now you have this ready-made community who's going to be behind you for the rest of your life. And also what can happen is that I am a big promoter of joint venture. So when you come out in a retreat, you connect with each other and you never know where things might lead. So just look at this, right? We connected through Facebook group, and we made an effort to take it a couple of steps further. You were on my show. We got really good reviews about it. It was a live show, and Sean got so many questions, folks, that I can't even tell you. And now I'm on your show, so we are helping each other grow and promote each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of that in there. I found some really great groups that you could just connect with, and I love the retreat idea. So I'm thinking about doing a mastermind cruise, like getting like 10 or 15 people together, jumping on a cruise ship for like 3 or 4 or 5 days or whatever, and doing that, just having like a mastermind kind of speaking event type cruise. I think it would be super, super awesome. So that's kind of, I love the retreat idea. Yeah. So changing it up a little bit, who are your influencers? You named some amazing ones. Brian Tracy, James Malinchak, Kevin Harrington, amazing people. But who have been your influencers over the years?
These people that I've mentioned have been my influencers, and in addition to them, one of them is Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall Goldsmith is number one thinker in the leadership area in the world, and he has influenced me to such an extent that I really had this pleasure to connect with him in New York recently in this past summer. And I was supposed to have just met him for like half an hour, and then I found that we ended up talking for 2 hours. And what I learned from him is that he's also a big believer in paying it forward. And when you talk about that, he opened up his program where he is coaching 100 people for free. The only thing that is an essence and a part of that is that these top coaches who learn from him are going to be coaching other people also for free. So basically, that continuing the chain of paying it forward and just not having one thing in mind that, all you can do is that first you got to make money and then you got to live your legacy. So having influencers like this really cements and solidifies my belief that I believe is that you can live the life if you want as well as live the legacy you want. So Marshall Goldsmith is one, and then Richard Branson, Oprah. I mean, there are so many people that I love to read the books, and you'll find this funny. In a dining room, we have a hutch, and I've removed all the china, and I've filled it up with my books.
What?
It's a great conversation topic when we have company over.
I was like, wait, what? That's awesome. This is what I love about the show. Like, you never know. You're like, wait a minute, what'd you do? Wait, what? I love it. So
it's all about
you have the hutch, right? You have the hutch, and you've taken everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And you replaced it with
books.
Love it. Love it. I want people to really understand that. I took everything off, and now there's nothing but books there. I have a huge bookshelf sitting right next to my computer desk. Like, people send me books. Like, hey, would you like to read over my proof? Hey, can you check out my book? Can you do that? Hey, can you write a review? Can you? I'm like super flattered. Like, wow, they want me to write the front page review, like, of the front cover of the book. Like, you know, like you would have like Brian Tracy write like a celebrity review, like best book ever, Brian Tracy. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like, they want me to do those things, or write it in the front cover, or, you know, whatever. Read through the book and give me your honest opinion. I'm like, wow, you could have asked anybody, but you asked me. Like, I don't know. I like that. Like, you know, it's a good feeling. You know, you feel valued when people
Sean,
are like, hey,
you're
I value
just humble. You're very
what?
humble. I have got no doubts why they ask you. You are an authority in your industry. That's why they're reaching out to you, because they value your opinion and they respect you and what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate that. And I try to, I really do. I really try to not get away from, because we see the movies, right? Like, some humble dude in a rock band, all of a sudden they make it big and he becomes like a jerk. And then he has this humble moment where all his friends leave and all the band breaks up. And then years later they get back together and he's like, I'm really sorry for being stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go through all that. Like, I just want to be, I don't want anything to change. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, like I am who I am. I'm a nice guy, humble, whatever. Like, no matter if I was like Tony Robbins, like, esque, you know what I mean? Or as popular as Brian Tracy or Jack Canfield or like Gary Vee or like any of those guys, like, I just still want to be the same person. You know what I mean? I don't want it to go to my head or anything like that. That's kind of like one of my biggest fears. I just don't want it to go to my head.
I doubt it will go to your head.
Perfect. So what kind of resources did you use? We talk about resources. I like strategies. I'm a systems person. So what kind of strategies and resources really have you used over the years? You know, we use Facebook as a resource. It's a resource for lead generation. We read books. We listen to podcasts. Website, Wix, WordPress, GoDaddy, like all these. There's so many resources out there for people to become successful, especially with the inundation with information and everything else. Like, you cannot not be successful. Like, it's your lack of resourcefulness that makes you not successful. So talk about some of the resources that you have used over the years that have propelled you forward into success.
Thank you. That's a great question. And when we're talking about the resources, I believe that, one is the mindset. I'm continuously working on my mindset, because what I've found is, so just kind of to give in one example, let's say when we are, even, when we are taking a car, then you see different signs. And then you're like, okay, let's say if I'm driving down from North Carolina to New York, you see different states, Virginia, Washington, Maryland. So you're seeing the borders. You're seeing that. Now, let's say if you go take a plane from North Carolina to New York, then you kind of don't see many borders. You may see some cities and all that. You get a larger perspective. And now let's just imagine that you're sitting in that space shuttle, and now you are in the space, and you're looking at the Earth. And when you're looking at the Earth, it's nothing but it's this beautiful globe with blue waters and mountains and greens, and you don't see any borders, you don't see any divisions, you don't see anything dividing the humanity. And then when that happens, when you're coming from that place of mindset with abundance, that, you know what, the person next to me has the same dreams, has the same suffering, has the same aspirations. So then when you come from that place of abundance, you're not operating from a point of scarcity. So that is one of the mindsets that I'm continuously working on. Second is the focus.
Perfect.
But what am I focused on? Because I come from neuroscience background, having learned for several years in the research labs and pharmaceuticals and having biochemistry by education, what is the chemistry of emotion? That if we stay focused on something, then that brings clarity. And when you have clarity, then you can go where you want to go, right? If you are, let's say, you are at North Carolina, since we're in North Carolina, I'm just going to take that example. Now you need to go to London, see where you're going for your vacation. That I want to go to London, see the Big Ben, and see
what? Divya, you there? All right, well, she dropped off again. So, you know what? It's all good. We're going to start to wrap up the show as soon as she comes back in, as she dials back in. So we're talking about resources. And some of the resources that I use, like Blog Talk Radio hosts my show. And so a lot of people for podcasts, they use Libsyn, Podbean, Blueberry, a lot of other different hosting. So I use Blog Talk Radio to host my show. I love it because it gives me a live feel to my show when a lot of other podcasts are recorded. They record batches of them, and then they'll record 10 episodes in a week, and then they release maybe 2 episodes for the next 5 weeks, And so for website, I use Wix. Some of the books that I recommend to people, they're always going to say How to Win Friends and Influence People, like some of those, Jack Canfield's Chicken Soup books, and, success books and whatnot. But there's a book that I absolutely love called Play Bigger by Christopher Lochhead. And I've said that book a lot of times for resources on here. It's a great business book. It's about category design and market categories that everybody plays in. Another great book that I think everybody should read is Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, or even .com Secrets. Those are really good resources for you to play in the online space, because a lot of what we do nowadays and a lot of how we connect with people is through the online space, social media space, YouTube. A lot of these ways that we connect, it's just the norms now. And so if you can read those books and then apply what you learn inside of there, you're going to be a lot better off than those who have never read those books. Russell Brunson has a great podcast called Marketing in Your Car podcast that he did a couple years back. It is a great podcast. It's about 5 to 7, maybe 8 minutes an episode. It's very, very quick. He just jots down his thoughts on his way to work, which he says is about 5 to 10 minutes away. It's like the birth of ClickFunnels. It's like the whole beginning of ClickFunnels, which is a great resource as well. ClickFunnels is a great resource, landing pages, email drips and whatnot. So very good stuff. But we talk about the resources here on Life Transformation Radio because it's important to know what everybody's using. I found some things like Scrapebox, which is a great SEO tool. Headliner, a bunch of different ones that people use, that just propel them forward to success. CreateSpace is now merging or moving over to KDP. And it's moving over to KDP now. And, I use CreateSpace. I tell everybody else to use CreateSpace. And so it just shows the difference or the evolution of things. I used CreateSpace years ago, and then all of a sudden now, it's moving to KDP, which is the Kindle version of Amazon. So, Divya, welcome back. We were just talking about some other resources that I use, some books and websites, and I was talking about CreateSpace, how you can self-publish your book. There's Ingram Spark and a bunch of other different ones. But I just think it's very important that we talk about the resources that people use inside of their business.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're talking about the tech resources, I love the technology. So, for example, I use Post Planner to post some of my posts to different social media, where it will post to several different platforms in one time. And, of course, that does not mean that you don't keep an eye out. If somebody's responding to you, do go and respond personally. But it's about creating that mixed bag of automated as well as the personalized attention goes a long way. Then I've used ActiveCampaign as my CRM suite. Then there are bots that use it. Then, there are some Google consoles where you find out what the SEO is doing for you, who is coming on your website, and what are the Google Analytics. Then there are some keyword searches where you can have, as you have talked about, Kindle, and besides Kindle and CreateSpace using Ingram Spark, also using Goodreads, BookAbub.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Goodreads
and
is huge.
I have got softwares to generate videos. So I'll say that Adobe Photoshop, Camtasia. I mean, it is, I got to tell you, there's so many resources that it can sometimes drive you nuts. So the key thing is to kind of sit down and look at again where you are at, where you want to be, and then what is needed to get there. Not to just kind of jump in and invest in like 10,000 things. Otherwise, you will not be able to even break even, and you'll be wondering, oh, what happened because I was chasing after the next big thing.
Perfect. I absolutely love that. So this is the moment in the show where we start to wrap up, where we deliver a shameless plug. You can plug your friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, your products, anything you want to talk about or plug in the show. This is your moment. Shameless plug. Go.
Okay, no, definitely. And I'll also email it to you. So if you don't mind adding to the show notes, I'll appreciate that. So folks, I'm all about making your message a movement. And when I talk about messages, the message can be done in so many different ways, and yet I got to tell you, there is something about authoring a book. Then you have authored the book, the trust cycle, where you're connecting with your client and, you're creating the awareness where they know you and then building the trust. People buy people, and people buy from those people who they like, know, and trust. So book is the best way to get yourself out there, and one of the solid ways, there's several different ways for authority positioning, but one of the ways is writing a book. And you can go big even before you've written a book. And I would like to give folks a free gift where they can opt in and get this report of 9 marketing hacks that will help them make it big even before they have written or published a book. The link to it is success.divyaparekh.com/make-it-big.
Perfect. I love it. All right, so as we close, we always end with a nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today. So what would that be? What is your big nugget of knowledge, the one takeaway?
The one takeaway, folks, I will tell you that is, if you're standing at the seashore and looking at it and you want to travel the world, you will not be able to do anything if you just keep on standing. So my one big nugget today is take action. Even if it's a small step, it does not have to be huge. And for that matter, if you say that I'm going to reach out to Divya and ask her for something, how you can help me. So my email address is contact@divyaparekh.com. That's one of the things. You can reach out to Sean. You can reach out to his next show guest where you have questions. So take that action. Don't wait. You want to go across the sea? Standing at the shore is not going to do anything. You got to do something, folks. Take action and make your dream come true.
Boom. Love it. Absolutely love it. Great way to end the show. So I want to thank you so much for your time with us today and the value that you have given us in this episode. Thank you so much.
Sean, thank you so much for being patient with the way technology decided for me to kick it out and phones dropping. And so I really appreciate your thoughtfulness and patience and really humbled to be on your show. Thank you again, and hope listeners, you got value out of today's show. And if I can be of support to you in any way, please feel free to reach out to me. Take care, and thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. So Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest, elevating and transforming lives all around her. If anything that Divya has said today resonated with you, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, and Google Play Music app. Also go to divyaparekh.com. It's all in the show notes. Go ahead and connect with her on Facebook inside of her group, Beyond Confidence for Success, and check her out on LinkedIn. So as we close, I always say to live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out those core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, have a great day.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.